Switching gears, I want to talk about teams that I'm really interested in the Western Conference, starting off with the defending champs, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not only just for the ability to repeat the chip, for potentially SGA to repeat back-to-back MVPs, that's already going to be interesting. They already were a 68-win team, best defense in the league, top, I want to say 3 or 4 offense in the league. They're already just interesting. But to me, the most interesting part of them and the piece that could honestly make them even better is Chet being fully healthy. Remember, in the beginning of the season, Chet looked really, really good on both sides of the ball. And then he went down with his injury, misses most of the season, comes back like right before playoffs. I want to say he played 37 regular season games, did not play a lot of regular season games, and then basically had to ramp up and get back into the playoffs and still look good. There was some times where he looked a little shaky. A lot of people talked about it. But then there were also times where he really did step up and have big, impactful games on their way to winning the finals. So my question is, healthy Chet, working on his game this past offseason, continuing to get better, how much better can that make this OKC team? Can a better Chet, one just health and, like I said, working on his game, make the Thunder what I called the Celtics when Kristaps Porzingis was healthy and playing? Because like I always say, when KP was playing and healthy, the Celtics looked unbeatable, and that's what made them special. Yes, they had a lot of other stuff going on. Yes, the Thunder have SGA, they have Dort, they have J-Dub, they have Jalen Williams, they have Caruso, they have this crazy switchable perimeter defense that, and they have Hartenstein that's going to hit you with an automatic floater 5-6 feet from the basket time after time. If again, they have such a special team. But if Chet's healthy and can be this 7'2", 7'3" rim protector who can also legitimately stretch the floor, do a little bit of work in the post, put the ball on the floor a little bit, and really just just really stretch that floor and really be a paint anchoring defender, that can make them like the scary special that the Celtics looked at times to me. So that's really exciting and interesting to me. Next team, we can't talk about a team in the NBA. We can't talk about NBA teams that are interesting or NBA teams that you're excited to see and not talk about the Lakers, right? Like it just, sometimes I find myself falling into the trap of the NBA media because all I feel like NBA media talks about is Lakers, 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 Bron. And I'm like, I get it though, because it is still Bron, and it don't make sense that he's playing this good this late in his career. And then they added Luka. So it's like, well, now 2 reasons to be interested in the Lakers. So Lakers had center DeAndre Ayton. I'm conflicted. I like DeAndre Ayton when he was a Phoenix Sun. The end of his tenure there, yes, flamed out, went horrible. But there were a lot of moments, especially when he played alongside Chris Paul, that DeAndre Ayton looked like the kind of center that can fit on this Lakers team. The question to me is, does DeAndre Ayton not fall back into that mode when he was playing alongside Chris Paul, but play more like that than the DeAndre Ayton we hear in reports? Now he wants to play with more post-ups and post touches and high post touches and stuff like that. Because with a team that has Luka and Bron, I just don't think he's going to get that. But if he's a big who's willing to roll, willing to stretch a little bit, willing to pick and pop, even if the pop is just to like a long 2, willing to be a lob threat, willing to play some defense, I think he can be a good fit for them. And then still at times hit him in that post-up touch. Let him operate out of that short roll and maybe make that extra pass or shoot that midi in the short roll, shoot the floater in the short roll. He could be a good fit. But if he's not, then, I mean, I don't see this going far, because after him, the center room and the center rotation is very short. And we saw, to me, that JJ Redick doesn't love his center rotation, because in the playoffs, he was refusing to play guys like Jackson Hayes, Christian Colo. Like, Jackson Hayes didn't get no burn for real in the playoffs, because I took it as JJ didn't trust him, or at least didn't think he was a fit for that moment. Added Marcus Smart, cool. Cool. Some perimeter defense, but we'll see what version of Marcus Smart we get, because there were times even in the Celtics, this is years ago now, but the times when he was the Celtics, that Marcus Smart reminded me of Memphis Dillon Brooks, where he thought he was better than he really was offensively and doing stuff he had no business doing. He can't fall into that with this Lakers team. I don't think he will with a team that has Luka and Bron. Austin Reeves, Rui. I still think this team is going to struggle a lot in terms of spacing the floor and shooting. I really do. Like the spacing and three-point shooting, I don't think is really going to be there, but they're going to be interesting. And the team that has Luka, as good as Luka is, it's very similar to what I said about Giannis and the Bucks. You can just drag them. Just drag them to the playoffs into a deep playoff run. That's not impossible. We'll see if it happens, though. Next thing we want to talk about, what are the Kings doing? What do the Kings really want to do here? So the Kings, what I wrote down was, what does this Frankenstein Bulls team look like with DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Sabonis swapped out for Vucevic? What does this Frankenstein Bulls team look like? Also, what does spacing look like for this Frankenstein Bulls team? Because Sabonis, LaVine, maybe not LaVine as much. He can space the floor. He shoots threes at a really good volume and clip. But especially Sabonis and DeRozan, they like to be in the same area. LaVine does like the mid-range a little bit. And then the idea that they want to try to ship off Malik Monk for what? I'm not necessarily certain. To replace him with Russell Westbrook, what are we doing in Sacramento? A team that the Light the Beam Kings, when the year the Kings just made the play-in for the first time in forever, I was excited for the Kings. The Kings have become like my league pass darling team over the last 3-4-ish years. Maybe even go back like 5 years. I watched when Tyrese and Fox was on the team together. Like, I liked that Kings team. And now, this team now, it's just crazy to me how fast sometimes NBA teams can seem like they're on an upward trajectory and just something goes wrong or they hit the eject button and it just goes left. I'm not saying they're plummeting. We're going to have to wait and see how this team goes. But if I had to bet money and if you asked me, is it going to be a top 6 lock playoff team? No, I don't think this is top 6. They're looking at a play-in appearance, and we'll see how that goes. All right, next on the list, I want to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Honestly, mainly because I'm just a really big fan of Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. Yes, I said Julius Randle. I am a fan. I think Julius Randle to me is a player who, yes, does make mistakes at times, isn't necessarily perfect, but I think his talent is typically overlooked by the NBA media, average fan, by a few moments of blunders. And yes, he can have a few moments of blunders, but in terms of some of the most talented power forwards in the league, to me, Julius Randle is up there. And then Anthony Edwards is just, I mean, I'm not there yet, but many people have him as the best shooting guard in the league. I think he's in that conversation. I'm just not there yet. Shout out Donovan Mitchell. That's just me, though. But I really want to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves because, yes, I'm excited to see Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle continue to get better playing together. I want to know what that point guard room is going to look like. I wish that they were able to get a point guard this past offseason. And I'm not even saying they had to go crazy, but someone like Lonzo Ball, unfortunately no longer available. He's with the Cavs, but of that, somewhere around there, Malcolm Brogdon, Tyus Jones, like that. I'm not saying all those guys were available, but I'm saying that caliber of point guard, I wish that caliber point guard could be added to this team because I really think this team needs somebody who can set the table and be a playmaker and someone who can take the ball out of Anthony Edwards' hands at times. A lot of their offense is just Ant, save us. And Ant can save you a lot, but that's only really going to get you so far when you're going up against some of the elite defenses. You got to have something else. Someone else who can create and put the ball on the floor. That's a guard. Shout out Julius. He can put the ball on the floor. It's not always the best outcome. But like a lead guard who can have control of the pace of a game. Shout out to Mike Conley. Excellent career. One of my favorite players of his generation. And honestly, not even still a bad player, but sometimes I feel like he's just out there because the ball's in Anthony Edwards' hands so much. But like I said, shout out Matt Collin. He does do an excellent job of spacing the floor. The 40% 3-point shooter on over 4 attempts a game, and has played over 70 games in the last 2 seasons. He's been an Iron Man for them. He's been consistent, and he's been out there on the floor. But I just feel like they need more from him. And I think part of the reason they didn't go out and get whatever that more is because they're really hoping Rob Dillingham steps up and does a lot this year. So I'll be watching Rob Dillingham closely to see if he can step up into some of that, a more prominent lead guard role for this team. Because I think they're good. Like, they are good. It's not even a thing. Objectively, the Minnesota Timberwolves are good, but I really do think they're missing a playmaker, like a key, real playmaker. And then the last 2 teams I have for the Western Conference, Houston Rockets. It's really excited to see them. Obviously, with the addition of Kevin Durant, you're talking about one of the best defenses in the NBA, whose offense was just, hey, we're going to get on fast breaks and force you to turn the ball over and get your rebound and just be out. That was their offense. And adding one of the best half-court scorers in the NBA. My only worry is, not worry, but I guess I'll say my only hesitation is all of their offense, half-court offense, might turn into Kevin Durant. I don't think it will. I think, one, because I think Alperen Sengun is a good enough offensively to be an additional hub to now find Kevin Durant. And I think Alpy's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, but also Alpy's looked fantastic in Eurobasket and is doing a lot of really, really solid things in Eurobasket and playing well for his country. But I think adding Kevin Durant to that team is going to be fantastic. Very similar effect to what adding Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic is going to be, but on steroids because it's Kevin Durant and not Desmond Bane. And I also like the idea that Kevin Durant isn't going to take away. He's not going to be like an elite defender for the Houston Rockets, and they obviously don't need him to be that. They're not asking him to be that. But I don't think he's going to be a negative defender on that roster and in any lineup he's in. Because Kevin Durant's not a bad defender. And unfortunately, there were times that Kevin Durant was the best defender on the Phoenix Suns floor, depending what 5 was on the floor with him. So to go from being the best defender on your teams at times with the Phoenix Suns to being a guy who they're just asking to play solid defense, I think he had the potential to send this team to a level that they haven't seen before. And they were the 2 seed in the West last year. Like if this meshes well, I think they could compete with an OKC solely by adding Kevin Durant because I think that's how good Kevin Durant is. Call me crazy, but that team was that good defensively last year. Like, the team was just really that good defensively last year that adding a scorer like Kevin Durant is going to open up so much for them on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm excited to see Reed Sheppard get more opportunity with the guard room being opened up a little bit more minutes being available now that Dillon Brooks is gone. And then last but not least, this is kind of like a guilty pleasure for me. The New Orleans Pelicans. I'm a Zion believer. To me, Zion healthy is the best show in the NBA. A healthy Zion is the best show in the NBA. And unfortunately, we haven't seen that a ton. The past couple of years, I thought the trio of Zion, CJ, and Brandon Ingram was going to be fantastic together. Injuries took that opportunity to really see what that could be away from us. We never really got to see it because of injuries. And now I think if Zion is healthy, the addition of Jordan Poole could help out a lot because Jordan Poole likes to play fast, likes to get up and down a lot faster than CJ McCollum likes to play. And Poole, not the world's best playmaker, but he can make some good passes. He can, I think, expand his playmaking game by playing on a team like this with Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and Zion. A little worried about their front court. Yves Messi, Kevon Looney as their bigs. Not bad, just not great either. But with a guy like Zion, you would want a big who can stretch the floor. They weren't able to get that, though, unfortunately. But also, none of this matters if Zion can't play due to injury. It's just the unfortunate reality of Zion Williamson and New Orleans Pelicans. If they're playing, I'll be tuning in. If he's not playing, I will not watch a game. So that's all I had for those are the teams I'm the most interested in this upcoming season. I think it was like 5-6 in the West, 5-6 in the East. As you can tell, I'm interested in a lot of teams. Like I said, at the beginning of this, I could go on and on about almost every team in the NBA. I, off the top of my head, I really can't think of a team I absolutely have zero interest in. Maybe the Raptors, but that's just because it feels like they're just there. Doesn't necessarily feel like it'd be bad, but also that's not true because I want to see what Brandon Ingram looks like in a full season there. So, like I said, I can find something about anyone, but those are the teams that I truly, truly am the most excited about going into this offseason.